Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. In this video today, we're going to be briefly discussing the land and house tax in the Kingdom of Thailand. There's a common misconception that there's no property tax in the kingdom. This isn't entirely true. There are certain taxes assessed on, in a way you could make the argument that there's tax assessed on the usage of property, although under certain circumstances, especially involving industrial and commercial property, sometimes even if the property is not being used, an assessed tax can be applied with respect to the value of the property. A couple of notes of mine here. So the types of property which could be subject to land and house tax here in the kingdom: industrial buildings, so we're thinking factories, warehouses, shipping facilities, industrial facilities, manufacturing facilities, things like this. And then also commercial buildings, commercial property. So we're talking office space, retail space, this kind of thing. Then we've got, this is where it gets a little murky. You've got houses and other residential type of property. And there are certain kinds of houses which are just homes. And in a moment, I'll briefly discuss recently proposed legislation to amend and in some ways kind of radically alter the Thai tax law with respect to property. But even the notion of residential property for personal use is sort of still enshrined in the new law, or at least the proposed new law, as under the proposal, there is simply a cap on the bottom amount of property concerned. So basically what they say is, look, your home is exempt from tax so long as it's worth less, its assessed value is less than a certain number. That being said, one could have one home and then could own, 100 houses. It's not possible for that individual, or at least it's probably not going to be believed by the relevant government authorities that that individual, uses all 250 of their houses, one day per year and considers all of those houses, their home. Okay, so it's pretty much assumed after one's house that other types of rental property could be presumed to be rent-seeking properties, and for that reason, an assessed property tax could be levied. And then on top of all of this, there's also the land under which any of the above would be situated. So it's, there could be a situation, this does happen fairly frequently in Thailand, where there's an owner of land and then there's an owner of a piece of property, for example, a piece of semi-immovable property like a factory sits on top of somebody else's land, but something like, a usufruct exists whereby, sort of a lifetime ownership interest and use of that land is maintained. There is a way for the Thai authorities to go ahead and assess taxes with respect to that kind of an arrangement on the underlying property owner. Depending on where you're at in Thailand, there's going to be different offices or different bodies with jurisdiction over the collection of these taxes and assessment of these taxes. In Bangkok, in the metro area, you've got the BMA, the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration. Further afield, we're going to be looking at the municipality office. And finally, especially out in rural areas, things of that nature, you've got the Tambon, or I guess village office. These organizations are basically designed to oversee tax well, they're designed for a number of things, but one of their functions is overseeing assessment and collection of taxation in the more rural areas. The tax rate currently being assessed under the current regulations is 12.5% of yearly rental value or yearly assessed rental value. So again, the property in question may not necessarily be in use, but could be assessed at a certain rate. There is, under certain circumstances, there's an appeal period under which an individual or individuals could appeal the assessment of a tax. There's various deadlines associated with that. Basically, other than that, and I'm not gonna go into a lot of further details with respect to the nitty gritty of Thai tax code and the rules with respect to forms and things like that. With respect to Thai tax assessment, suffice it to say, an assessed value of more than 9,000 baht in possible rental income per year could trigger the possibility of an assessed land and house tax. And basically, although there is an appeal period and there is an appeal mechanism, as most people know, it's pretty darn tough to fight the tax man. So unless there really is a genuine, mitigating circumstance, it probably is prudent to go ahead and make sure one's tax filings are up to date. So that being said, most of this will probably not apply to many of the foreigners watching this video, as foreigners can't, or effectively can't, own land in the Kingdom of Thailand. Although it could be possible to see foreigners being assessed taxes, especially for multiple condo ownership. It's not unheard of to have foreigners that own condos here in the Kingdom, specifically for the purpose of assessing rents. And under those circumstances, again, an assessed rental tax rate of 12.5% could apply if certain circumstances are met. So things to think about with respect to the land and house tax. And basically the thing to take away from this video is that Thailand does have certain tax regimes with respect to property taxes, and there appear to be coming changes, fairly fundamental changes to the Thai tax structure, and we'll keep you updated on this site with respect to those.